guys, so today's tutorial is gonna be a little bit more on the fun side. We have glitter, we have color, we have rhinestones, we have a little bit of everything. I'll admit today's kind of like a gloomy day outside. I really wasn't feeling too well today. It usually something that happens whenever it starts like raining. I always get into this kind of like melancholic, very like down mood, so I try to do stuff to kind of cheer myself up. So I wanted to go ahead and sit down, do this makeup look for you guys, and just have a little bit of fun with makeup. I use these times to pretty much try to cheer myself up, especially with makeup, because I love working with makeup and I love being creative. So if you guys are feeling like this, just go ahead, grab your makeup kit, grab some coffee, some Monster Energy, grab some wine, just whatever's gonna soothe those nerves, and just sit down, chit chat with me. Let's have a little one-on-one together. So yeah, not much to say about this look, except if you guys want to see how I did it, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I did one eye off camera just so that I could get a little bit of a feel from it. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. First things first, I'm actually gonna go ahead and take the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer, and this is gonna be my base for my eyeshadows. I'm gonna go ahead and also take that and use that to carve out my brows. And as always, I'm gonna go ahead and take my primer and really blow it out all the way up to the temples. Just because, and at least I know for this look, I will be extending it out. Also, I didn't fill in my eyebrows at first just because there's a lot going on with the eyeshadow itself. So I kind of want to go ahead, just carve them out, and then very lightly fill them in later. So for this look, I'm going to go ahead and take the Me, Myself, and Mitchell palette. These are pressed pigments, so the color payoff is intense. This is what the palette looks like. It's a gorgeous palette, and as you can see, I've been playing around with it quite a bit lately. I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade Mini. This is the first shade that I used, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply this on my crease. I'm gonna take the Morphe E17 and dig into that Mini shade. And what I'm first gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna start pushing it on the crease. I'm not gonna blend it just yet. I'm just gonna press it onto my crease all the way to the inner corner. And then very lightly, I'm gonna go ahead with circular motion and kind of blend the eyeshadow just a little bit. I'm just gonna go in and really pack that in there. Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take the same shade, and this time I'm gonna start bringing it up into the temple. We're only working right now with the top part of the cut crease, so don't even worry if a lot of eyeshadow gets on the bottom, just because we're gonna go ahead and clean that up later. Go ahead and at least do a little bit of a softer blend. Go ahead and take the shade Mental and use that as my transition shade, I guess you would say. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off with a darker color and then blend it in towards the lighter colors. I'm gonna go ahead and use my M506 brush by Morphe. Take Mental, and I'm gonna start blending that crease. Also guys, let's talk technique real quick. If you hold the brush like this, kind of like at the end, it's gonna give you a much softer blend, so that way everything does tend to blend a little bit better. If you put it, or if you hold your brush a little bit more towards the front, it's gonna give you a more opaque finish, which can be a little bit harder to blend at the end. So just make sure to hold it like this and very lightly. Go ahead, circular motions. Go back in with Mini and just pack that again on this crease area. A lot of these looks involve going back and forth with a lot of color, so it might take a little minute, but it's worth it. Go ahead and pick up Manchester, which is the yellow shade in the palette, and use that to blend the orange onto the brow bone. And I'm using a very tiny brush. This is the M562 by Morphe. Super duper tiny, so you can actually blend smaller details like that. To point out also that this is literally one of the most pigmented yellows I've ever used in my entire life. And yellows are a very hard color to pull off, especially in eyeshadow or pressed pigment form. But this one is by far one of the best ones that I've ever used. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and clean this up. And for that, I'm using the Clinique Take the Day Off Makeup Remover. other color, so I'm gonna go ahead and take Mini on a smaller detail brush and just pretty much go along the crease line to really intensify that. The crease has been pretty much cut and clean, so we're gonna go ahead and take the same eyeshadow base from before, the Anastasia one, and we're gonna go ahead and carve out the inside and fill it in. I'm using the M131 brush by Morphe. I will say it doesn't matter if the line is fully perfect because like you can see we're gonna go ahead and place a liner in there, but we're gonna go ahead and start filling in the inside. Okay, so for this what we're gonna do is we're pretty much gonna recreate what we did on the top of the cut crease. However, this time it's gonna go more from outside in. Let me show you. I'm gonna take the shade Mini yet again, and that is gonna go right in the outer corner. Really pack it in there. And I would recommend just leave a little line a centimeter away from the cut crease line so that we have a little guideline for where to apply your liner. Then I'm taking Mental on a packing brush and packing that right in the middle. Then with Manchester, packing it right in the inner corner. This already by itself looks good, so you can literally leave it as is, just place the liner and keep it matte. But you know that ain't me, so we're gonna go ahead and apply some glitter. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Anastasia Beverly Hills glitter in the shade Carnival with the Anastasia Beverly Hills adhesive. Gonna go ahead and use the glitter adhesive first and pack that right in the middle of the lid, and then place a glitter right on top. I want to go ahead and darken up the outer corner a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Moto and apply that right on the outer corner using a slightly smaller brush. This one's actually the E36. I just want to add the tiniest bit of definition in that outer corner. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up the bottom edge using the exact same Q-tip and makeup remover trick. Create the liner in the top lash line, I'm actually gonna go ahead and take the Roller Lash Liner by Benefit. Just gonna do one small line. I'm gonna go ahead and do something fun with my liner, so I'm taking this purple glitter by Wonderland Cosmetics. It is literally a very micronized glitter. It's super cute. And I'm gonna go ahead and first take the Anastasia glitter adhesive and place that on top of my liner, and then place the glitter on top. For my liner, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Suva Beauty Hydra Liner in the shade Space Panda. And I'm using the Suva Beauty liner brush for that. Literally, it's such a tiny, very detailed brush. I love it, especially for liner work. A little bit of a gap that we left in there as a reference point. That was literally a struggle, but you know what? We are here. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the bottom lash line. Now, one thing that I learned about using this eyeshadow palette is that it is a little bit better to have your eye look done first rather than going in setting everything with powder, because these are pressed pigments. So I found out recently that they don't really stick well on top of dry or powdery surfaces. So I'm gonna see if I can do my bottom lash line right now and then touch it up later once my whole face is done. I'm gonna go ahead and line first using Roxy by Urban Decay, which is a beautiful blue, like a metallic blue liner. And next, I'm gonna go ahead and take the P. Louise and Mama Mitchell Acid Rain Primer in the shade Nitro. I'm gonna go ahead and use that on the bottom lash line. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up a little bit towards the temples, kind of following the guideline of the wing liner from earlier. I'm gonna take the shade Moody Mitch, which is that really dark blue, and really press that close to the lash line. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do my inner corner liner. So these are the eyes pretty much done, other than just small little details that I'm gonna add later on. I feel like this eye turned out so much better than this one, but you know what? We're gonna go ahead and work with it. We're gonna move on to the rest of the face and then come back to the eyes later. So for my face, I already went ahead and primed, and I used the Fenty Beauty True Matte Primer for that. And for my foundation, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the MAC Pro Wear Foundation in the shade NC42. Gonna go ahead and take my Morphe sponge and just sponge that all over my face. Now when it comes to this part down here, do not worry. Just try to be a little bit careful and blend it in. Because remember, what we did first was we pretty much applied it as a base for the rest of the eyeshadow. So once the rest of the face is done, we're gonna go back and fix that later. But for now, just very softly with a sponge, go ahead and kind of tap it and blend it in there. And this is why I love using the sponge. The angle gets so precise whenever you're wearing a liner. It's literally so good. Move on to the concealer now. Be very, very, very careful in this part because again, we have the bottom lash line. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of teach you guys how to do that without messing the bottom lash line. I'm gonna take my Morphe concealer. I've actually been really liking this concealer lately. So it does smooth out my skin a little bit because it does have a little bit of a dimethicone. So it gives me a much more blurred effect. And I like the fact that it also brightens as well. Now, usually I would tend to cream contour before this, but I kind of like the fact that I'm doing it beforehand, and you guys will see why. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just take my little sponge and just going to go ahead and blend it in. Go ahead and take a really, really tiny, precise eyeshadow brush that's fluffy for blending. And I'm going to go ahead and blend that underneath. So that way I get a little bit of that softer blend. So for cream contour, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Contour Kit in the shade Medium. I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade Cinnamon, and that's gonna be my contour shade. To activate it, I'm actually gonna go ahead and take this beauty oil by Danessa Myricks. So basically what I like to do with this is literally just take a little bit of it and just kind of drop it in there. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna make it more of a liquid consistency, because I will be honest, some cream formulas don't really tend to work as well as others. They tend to be a little bit kind of rougher to play with. So I like to go ahead and activate it with an oil. And then I like to go ahead and take, literally this is just a regular paintbrush from like a craft store. And I'm gonna go ahead and just place this on my contour areas. I pretty much do everything besides the nose. I actually prefer to do the nose with powder later on, but we're gonna go ahead and blend everything out. And as usual, I'm gonna go ahead and take my M532 brush by Morphe. And since I trimmed my beard, I'm gonna go ahead and just take whatever's left and sweep it on my jawline. I'm not really gonna cream contour there just because, again, I do have facial hair, but because it's trimmed, I still wanna go ahead and even everything out. Now to brighten, I'm actually gonna go ahead and take a little bit of Shape Tape by Tarte, and this is in shade Light Medium Honey, and just place that literally in the center parts of my face. Use whatever's left and very softly underneath my contour to brighten everything up. And it also is going to define my cheekbones a little bit better. Use my Maybelline Fit Me powder to set underneath my eyes. shade Mist, and I'm gonna use that to blend the bottom lash line out a little bit more. Like how I did with my potty look, I'm gonna go ahead and just place a little rhinestone. For my mascara, I'm gonna use the Major Pleasure Mascara by Nabla. Because the eyes are really bold, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of keep the brows a little bit more on the natural side. So I'm first gonna go ahead and take my Morphe brow pencil and literally fill in my brow. But what I'm doing is I'm doing kind of like hair-like strokes just so that I can get that nice fluffy effect. Then when it comes to the outer corner, I'm gonna go ahead and literally just filling it in. And then I'm taking my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Gel and I'm gonna comb through these brows, but I'm sticking the hairs up so that way I get more of that bushy brow effect. And for my lashes, I'm gonna use these. They are called Yas Queen by Morphe. So for bronzer, I'm gonna go ahead and take my MAC Mineralized Skin Bronzer in the shade Give Me Sun. Go ahead and take that on my Sephora Collection 204 brush. And just gonna go ahead and start contouring and bronzing. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Morphe setting spray and do a quick misting. For blush, y'all know I'm gonna use my AW palette by Morphe. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade MUA with a little bit of Provocative. Gonna kind of tap in between these two and just apply that as my blush. Y'all know the drill. I'm gonna go ahead and contour my nose. And for my highlighter today, I'm gonna go ahead and take the NARS Loose Pigment in the shade Orgasm. They literally have like 3 versions of these. They have a liquid, they have a loose, which is the one that I'm gonna be wearing, and then they have the pressed blush. It's a beautiful, beautiful, it's technically a blush, but it has such a beautiful like gold reflex that you can honestly use it as a highlighter. Use my JS4 brush for that. Okay, so lips have already been blanked out by foundation, so now I'm gonna go ahead and take my lip pencil by Morphe in the shade Sugar Pie, and I'm gonna start lip lining. I'm gonna go ahead and top it all off with Shrimpton by MAC. So that is it for this look, and I really hope that you all liked this video. If you guys did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you guys want to follow me on any other social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all that good stuff, all those links will be down below, as well as the products that I used in this video. I'm really sorry that all my videos are literally just like me in like a black, some sort of jacket, and then I'm shirtless. I literally have no cute outfits, and I'm just like, you know what? It's stylish. It's gonna be a look, so like, we're just gonna make it work. But again, I hope that you guys like this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!